What's up again? This is LS4life. I'm back in here. I'm making another video trying to keep myself going here in the VR world and 3D printing. So, as you know, I make adapter for different games, and so far they all work well. And like anything else, 3D printing and adapter is a learning curve. You learn something new every day. You kind of develop and make changes to previous versions and so on, just depending on what you learn or in what you like to improve based on other things that you experience. So obviously, like I mentioned, I made different adapters. In here, this is a badminton adapter. Now obviously all adapters that I make have one thing in common, which is that the housing, well, not all of them, some of them, of course, they are different adapter, like the pistol version of the adapter, which I will post maybe a picture right here. That particular adapter is different. So this is a badminton adapter. As you can tell in here, you can see that it's very simple. The adapter itself is basically a handle and the controller goes on top, and the handle basically is measured to be the same size as the real badminton, and with some trickery, let's say, you try to manage to create the same balance and weight as a badminton, I'll say, racket. Now, this is a left hand, not a left hand, this is a right hand adapter, and this is the right hand controller, of course. Now, most of the adapter, just in order to save weight, people will have to remove the battery cover, and sometimes you change the battery that you use for a AAA instead of a AA. So most adapter, in order, especially based on the Quest system, which I make adapter for the Quest 2 and Quest 3, Quest 3S, even the Pro, some of them, the best way to actually create a better balance is by, obviously, like I mentioned, removing the battery cover and changing the type of battery that you use from a AA to a AAA. But also what happens here is that most of the time, the best way to keep the adapter in place for many of the adapter that I make and other people make is by trying to use, now that you take the battery cover off, try to use that space to help you out. So in my case, this is my adapter. Obviously, like I mentioned, most of my adapter look this way, except for the handle area. It has a clip inside that you can see right here, and it has this arm over here, which I initially use to create a sense of more security. So this is how we normally just go in. You take the battery cover off. This edge that's here gonna go against the block that's here. So you slide them in like this, and then you see the opening here with a cutout. This button have to go inside this area, so within that space. So you push down, and as you push down, obviously this little handle will go into the battery cover clip. So this is what it would like when it's basically inserted properly. So you can see how this button is right around this area. Okay, now the next thing to do in order to keep the controller from coming out, because this over here is not necessarily a completely proof of protecting your controller for slipping out. Now it does look good, obviously it does help the controller from coming out if you just tweak it like this and like that, but it's not necessarily, I would not recommend to just use this adapter to play a game that you have to swing or do some fast movement, because it could come possibly apart, especially if you did not put it all the way in. Now to get it out, you got to press the button and obviously push on the bottom, and it comes out. This little piece here, right, which secure the controller in place in here, it can break. Therefore, that will ruin the whole idea of being able to use the controller, right? So again, if you are using an adapter that has an arm and you do this, like I mentioned, line it up properly, and push down on it, you'll get this, right? So the next thing that I did is that I created this clip. Now obviously this clip has an evolution. Initially it was a hard clip made out of PLA. Now this is a flexible but still rigid TPU clip. What it does obviously is that you can shoot this on. You can bite this off, drop it, step on it, and it won't break. In reality, I will say this, I don't like to say the word the best, but this is probably one of the best way and provide that you can have an adapter to keep your controller in place. Anyway, let's continue. So as you can see, this is two separate parts. You got the clip, you got the adapter, and normally what you'll have to do is to come to the edge right here of this part of the adapter, put the clip on with this cutout that you have here, put it on the edge, and then align and just push up, and you'll get this type of finish. This way the controller won't come out no matter what you do, no matter how hard you swing. The battery is not there, so obviously it felt a little easier, so I will take it out and do it with the battery inside. So in order to take it out, you just put your finger on the bottom and rotate up, or you can just whatever you can use, and it'll come up. See how it's coming up? And if you just tweak it like this, it'll come up. You can take it out. I will do this with the battery on now. Give me 1 second, I need to get a battery. Okay, here I'm back. I'm using a regular battery this time. I'm not gonna go into much detail. So again, I'm gonna insert the battery into the controller. Here is the battery. I'm taking obviously my badminton adapter again. Do the same process, slide them in, align it, push in, and now the controller is inside the housing. So now I'm going to use the clip, which is the main security point to keep the controller in place at all time. Again, I do the same thing. This is the back end and edge of the housing, and then this particular cutout, I align it with this, and you can see how the nose of the clip is pointing down. It's aligned like this. Then you just put it in here on the edge. I don't know if you can see that, right? And then once you have it in here like this, you push up. And once you push up, it'll go inside the opening here and keep your controller in place. So, okay, with that being said, let's get to the next part. Because the adapter and the clip are two separate parts that you can obviously take out, it's obviously separated, and you can easily drop this and lose it. So what I did was, with some feedback from Sensei Wolf, I said, okay, you know what, you lost your clip, I gotta find a way to, keep this together. And obviously trying to brainstorm what to do to keep this from coming apart. The simple solution is what I did next. Now, this clip, if you not sure if you can see, but there's a little hole on the clip, a little round hole. Not sure you're gonna see it, but if you have it in your hand, there is a little round hole right here, and that comes obviously to the other side over here. And this is what I did. Now I'm gonna use this table tennis adapter to show what I did. Very simple. This right here is a rubber band. I fed the rubber band through the opening that I just mentioned. Then I take the rubber band and flip it over the top of the clip so that it doesn't come out. So now the rubber band keeps the clip together with the adapter all the time. So you don't have to worry about where you put your clip, because it's always going to be together as long as you don't break the rubber band. But if you do break the rubber band, you can always do the same thing. Again, just use a very thin wire in order to pull the rubber band through, and then you just flip the rubber band over the top so it can stay in place. With that being said, the next thing is that now I can take the clip and put it on the edge like it is here. Okay? By doing this, now, right now, see, these are my two adapters that I have on my hand. I got others. I'm gonna take the controller out. So now that you have the adapter, the clip on the controller, you follow the same instructions or orienting the controller properly and inserting into the controller, into the adapter, and push down. As you push down, right, the controller, you see how this is going back into the plate that's supposed to be nice and aligned. You can see how the button is nice and inside this cavity. And obviously on this particular table tennis adapter, you can see you got very little room on the back. But guess what happened? You see how the clip on the back is? That is the perfect scenario that you want. Why? Because right now, from this position, you can easily push this part of the clip up inside here. Again, let's see if I can not move away from the screen now. See, there. Now you push that in, and now that is what you want to have. As I mentioned, I made different adapter, and here we have a left hand controller with a adapter for a gun stock, and this is what it looks when you're holding this adapter to use it with a gun stock. Now this particular version here is also part of the gun stock. This is the Shuriken 2.0 version. Again, you put your hand here with a controller and you'll have this, and then you can do this, right? Guess what? You have the same scenario here. Look at the clip here, and that's where you insert the controller, and it will do the same thing that I just showed you with the table tennis adapter. This is the left hand controller. Guess what? The same situation here. The same clip, the same rubber band is on it, the same clip in the same position. This is my golf adapter with weight adjustment, and guess what? The same situation. Look at the rubber band here and the clip on the back end, and all of them follow the same idea. Now moving forward, I will no longer use the full length of this arm. It'll be cut off, and it'll be similar to this adapter. A little bit longer maybe, but more or less you're not going to have the clip. Why? Because obviously this part here is an extra step. People sometimes feel that if this thing break, oh, that was a failure, something came up wrong. And obviously, for sure, if you feel that this is just what you want to use to keep your controller in place, you will be making a mistake. The really important part is this clip on the back, and it'll save me the aggravation of having to obviously use more material and printing this part here that people may get obviously confused. At the end of the day, this part here is not necessarily the best way to keep the controller in place. Therefore, again, I will be cutting this a little bit like halfway this way, and this is the main source to keep your controller in place, just like you see in here. So with that being said, I hope this video helped some of you understand the way in which you can use the rubber band feature that I put on the adapter. Also understand that if you don't have this arm, you still can use the controller and the adapter together as long as you have the clip. And for the moment, that's it. Hopefully you stop by my Etsy store and look at some of my product. And if you have any question, leave a comment, send me a text message. I go by the name LS4life in any of my uh, Discord channels. And if you see me on any of those games in VR, LS4life, I'm your man. So thank you for stopping by. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.